Hello and welcome back to the Crown Sessions, where passion, knowledge, and development thrive. I'm Jessica, your Jess of all trades, and today we are back with another video. You are a business owner and you are going to be opening your own brick and mortar business, and we are going to be learning how to budget your build out. So if you want to learn more on how to put a great budget together for building out your brick and mortar business, then stay tuned. Before we get started, I'm going to be sharing my screen, so I need you to go ahead and pause the video and grab a pen and notebook so you can take notes on how to build this budget out. Secondly, I need you to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for the push notifications so you can receive all this business tea quick, fast, in a hurry. All right, guys, so let's jump right in. So this is a spreadsheet that I created on Excel when I was building out the Evolve Effect hair extension studio about 2 years ago. So I want to show you how I use this spreadsheet to my benefit in order to manage all of my expenses for the build out. So let's get started. I have a category here for each portion of the project. So the first portion of the project was the construction piece. And then we have plumbing, electrical, equipment, furniture, electronics. I like to break it up into categories so that I can just see the big picture as to how much I'm spending on each portion of that project. And, maybe I want to know if I need to pull from one to fill the gap in another, I can do that. So the next row or column you'll see here is the expense column. And the expense is the actual thing that you're spending the money on, that you're budgeting and spending the money on. And so under construction, you'll see there's multiple expenses. There was the demo, the drywall, cabinetry paint and installation, countertop installation, paint, flooring, doors and installation, etc., etc. And you'll see that for the rest of the categories as well. The next column is the budget column. And so what I did to create my budget, this is very important. This is like the most important part of this entire piece, because you can't create an effective budget without doing research. And you don't want to under budget yourself and end up spending way more money than you expected to. So this part is very important. To create your budget for each of these expenses, you need to do your research. If it's purchasing an item or a product to fulfill this budget, then you want to go and find the product and look at the pricing for it. And you want to find the product that's going to be the right fit for your business. So for example, countertops. I wanted to make sure I not only looked for countertops that were aesthetically pleasing, but I also wanted to find countertops that were going to be durable and be able to last, because I have a hair salon and stuff happens in hair salons. And so you want to make sure you find the pricing for that and that you do the appropriate measurements to get the most accurate pricing you can for those countertops. You want to shop around. I went to Floor and Decor, and I went to 2 other countertop companies and got an estimate on the countertops before I felt good about filling in this line item. Creating your budget is probably going to take the most time. It's going to take a lot of searching online, a lot of walking into stores like Home Depot or Lowe's or other specialty stores to ensure that you're getting the right budget for that line item. The same thing for the labor. So the installation piece is labor. That's who is going to actually install the cabinetry, and who's going to paint it. The demo, that's pure labor. Who is going to do the demolition of what's currently in your unit, which is really important. So that's going to take getting multiple estimates before you can build out this budget. And so, super important. I like to build out my budget. Usually I like to estimate how much my budget is going to be, at least by getting all of the pricing for any of the products and materials that I need before I get my estimates. And then say you don't have a place yet, but you have your funds in hand, and you want to know how much money you're going to be allocating to your budget for each of these categories. Another cool thing that I did was to estimate the labor before getting before actually getting estimates from physical people. Is I went on Google and I searched average price to paint, and then usually it'll say on Google the average price to paint is anywhere between $3 per square foot to $12 per square foot. And what I like to do is aim towards the average, the middle price, and make that my budget so that I already have a number in my head when I start collecting those estimates. I hope that makes sense. If that's how you build out your budget, you want to make sure that you've pretty much spread out all of your expenses as much as possible within this budget, so that you meet that overall number that you were going for, which is this number down at the bottom. So my goal was to not spend any more than $35,000 because I knew that was a portion of the total capital that I collected for the opening of my business. And so after building out my budget, I was able to build a budget of about $29,924, which is well below that $35,000 mark. So let's move on to the next column. The next column is the part that you're going to fill out once you've started the build out. So this is after you've hired your people, you know what your budget is for each expense, and this is where you start filling in this number as the projects are being completed and executed. My budget for demo, for example, was $2,100. The actual that I spent was only $500. So I ended up saving $1,600. I ended up saving $1,600 on the demo, which is pretty cool. And that kind of leads us into what this next column is. So I actually did the formula that will subtract my actual from my budget number, and it gives me basically what the difference is. And it'll also highlight it green if I'm doing well, meaning if I saved money, and then it'll highlight it red if I spent too much money, if I spent more than what the actual budget was. And then this final column is the vendor, who did the work, okay? Which is also really important because you may want to, you're going to save this for later on down the line, and you may want to be able to reach back out to this person who did the work for you, and it's good to keep up with that. All right, guys, so now that you kind of know what the category expense, the budget versus the actual, and the difference means, let's take a look at some of our totals. And like I said, this is my actual budget that I used to build out my studio. So for my construction totals, my budget was $18,097. My actual that I ended up actually spending was $16,887. And then so you'll see that I ended up saving about $1,209.49. And I was able to do that because I was estimating that I would need a plumbing permit. I didn't actually need a plumbing permit, so I saved $500 there. I was estimating that I would need to hire an architect for about $700, and the architect that I found ended up only charging me $120. So I saved some good money there. I saved about $580 there. That was the bulk of my savings. But let's look at where I overspent. So drywall, I estimated that I would only need $2,000 for drywall, and I ended up spending $2,864 on drywall. And, it was mostly because I needed to upgrade the studs from wood to metal in order to ensure that it'll maintain over time. I put up divider walls for each of the beauty suites, and so it cost a little bit more, but I wanted to make sure it was right for the look I was going for. I also overspent on countertops, and I overspent on the countertop installation. And so you'll see that this kind of balanced out really well, and I still ended up saving about $1,200. The demo is really what helped me save, as well as the plumbing permit and the architect fees. So in plumbing, I ended up overspending by about almost $750. And it was because I just did not expect electrical to cost me as much as it did. But the cool part is I still saved in the construction piece, so I'm still doing pretty good. For equipment, I ended up spending way more than I wanted to on the shampoo stations. And that's because I did not calculate the amount of money that I would be charged to bring in my items from customs. So overall, you'll see between the top and the bottom, I overspent in a lot of areas, but I still ended up saving a total of $1,300.80. I'm sorry, a total of $1,300 and some change. And that's because I did a really good job of researching all of my expenses appropriately before moving on into the project. I can't stress to you how important that is. But if you want this template, I have created a blank one for you guys. Everything is already filled out. I'll show you here. So for example, say you have estimated $2,000 for your drywall. Right now you haven't spent any money, so it's going to show that you are in the positive $2,000. But say you spent $1,700 on your drywall, it's going to show that you saved $300. Say you spent $2,700 on your drywall, well, now it's going to say that you actually overspent $700. I have created this template for free for you guys. If you are going into the build out stage of your brick and mortar business, I highly recommend this template. I've already done the work for you. Go ahead and click on the link in the description down below, and I hope this was beneficial. I hope this content was beneficial to you and your new business. If it was, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Also, if you're looking to maybe get a similar template or just go ahead and review this a little bit further, you can go ahead and head to our website, and I will link that down in the description. We have free templates, and we also have some paid for templates where you can download immediately today and get to work. I hope this was helpful, and you guys have a great day. Bye.